بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أما بعد، فإني أرحب بكم جميعا في هذا الدرس. I would like to welcome all of you once again. We continue reading from the book 100 Pieces of Advice, compiled from the work and the books of the great Imam Shaykh al-Islam Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah ta'ala. We're going to read in the we're still in the last chapter, chapter number 10, 10 أسباب للعصمة من كيد الشيطان الرجيم, 10 ways to protect against the plots of the shaitan. 10 ways to protect against the plots of the shaitan. Inshallah ta'ala, we're going to read from the 9th. We stopped at the 9th one. For those who have the book, you go to page number 72, inshallah ta'ala. So Imam Ibn al-Qayyim rahmatullah, he says, likewise, from the ways that protect you from the shaitan and his plots, because as we learned before, shaitan is an open enemy to mankind, and especially to the Muslims and the believers. The more you try your best to stick to the path, shaitan is going to come after you. We did 9, okay. We did 9? Alright, so we do 10 inshallah. We did 9, alhamdulillah. Now is the 10th and the last one, inshallah ta'ala. Jazakallah khair. So the 10th of these ways that Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah ta'ala wa ghafar lahu wa liwalidayhi wa lil-muslimin wal muslimat, he said, a protection from the shaitan is restraining the glands, avoiding excessive speech and food, and not mixing with the people excessively. Did we start this too? We start and we stopped where? Oh yeah, huh? We're on what page? Oh, okay. Let's read it again, inshallah, because we review it, okay? I'm just going to read it, okay, and you follow with me. 10. The 10 is that a protection from the shaitan is restraining the glands, avoiding excessive speech and food, and not mixing with the people excessively. The shaitan gains mastery over the son of Adam through these 4 doors. Through these 4 doors, or gates. The wandering glance transports the image to the heart and distracts the mind with it. Thus fitna starts with a curious glance. A person just looks somewhere where he don't supposed to look, and then he will be dealing with the effects of that. Prophet ﷺ said, النظرة سهم مسموم من سهام إبليس فمن غض بصره لله أورثه الله حلاوة يجدها في قلبه إلى يوم يلقاه. The look is a poison arrow from the arrows of Iblis, meaning looking at haram. Okay? But looking at what is halal, that's permissible. Okay? Looking at contemplating on the creation of Allah, like the mountains, the trees, and the like, and that's something that is commanded. We're commanded to reflect, but you don't reflect on a woman that you have no business to look at and say, "Oh, I'm reflecting, pondering the creation of Allah." No, this is haram. You don't do that. Okay, but you want to reflect? Go to the park, reflect on that lake, reflect on the trees and the landscape, and look up in the skies, and aina. So he said, the look is a poison arrow from the arrows of Iblis. Thus, whoever lowers his gaze for Allah, Allah will grant him a sweetness that he will find in his heart until the day he meets him. So as many of the great calamities occur by way of the glance of the eyes. Many of the great calamities occur by way of the glance of the eyes. He said, Din ibn al-Qayyim, he says, how many looks have been followed by destruction? How many looks have been followed by destruction? SubhanAllah. The wandering glance is the foundation for devastation. He said, as for excessive talking, it opens doors of evil upon the slave, all of which are entrances for the shaitan. Refraining from excessive talking closes all of these doors. He said, how many wars have started from one word? The Prophet ﷺ said to Mu'ad bin Jabal radiallahu anhu, ألا أخبرك بملاك ذلك كله قلت بلى يا نبي الله فأخذ بلسانه صلى الله عليه وسلم وقال كف عليك هذا فقلت يعني معاذ يا نبي الله وإنا لمؤاخذون بما نتكلم به فقال أي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ثكلتك أمك يا معاذ وهل يكب الناس في النار على وجوههم أو على مناخرهم إلا حصائد ألسنتهم. This is a part of a hadith in which the Prophet ﷺ, he gave advice to Mu'ad radiallahu anhu. And at the end of the hadith, he said to him, shall I not tell you what is the foundation of all that? Meaning that which will help you to be firm upon the path of Allah, upon the deen, upon righteousness. Mu'ad radiallahu anhu said, of course, O Prophet of Allah. So he said, the Prophet ﷺ took hold of his tongue and said, control this, or guard this. Control this. Mu'ad said, O Prophet of Allah, will we be held responsible or accountable for what we say with the tongue? Prophet ﷺ said, may your mother be bereaved of you. This is an expression that the Arab they used to say to indicate that in our terms it's like, you should know better. I thought you know better, or something like that. He said, O Mu'ad, will the people be thrown into hell on their faces or on their noses for anything other than the harvest of their tongues? So this is very important for us, that a person should pay attention to their speech. Don't just keep talking. I know, because everything is written, whether for you or against you. I know. Anas bin Malik radiallahu anhu narrated, توفي رجل من أصحابه فقال يعني رجل أبشر بالجنة فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أولا تدري فلعله تكلم فيما لا يعنيه أو بخل بما لا ينقصه. A man among the companions of the Prophet ﷺ died. So a person said, glad tidings of paradise, meaning for that person. To which the Messenger of Allah ﷺ said, you do not know. Perhaps he spoke of what did not concern him, or he was greedy with what would not decrease him. Then Ibn al-Qayyim rahmatullah says, most of the sins are birthed through excessive looking and excessive talking. These two are the widest entrances for the shaitan, subhanAllah. Looking and talking. He says the openings of these two doors are never filled, in contrast to the desire of the stomach. If a person fills his stomach, he no longer desires food. Even if he put in front of him anything. If someone is full, he's like, you're late, man. I can't eat anything. I have no room. Because he's full. As for the eye and the tongue, if you don't monitor them, if you don't subdue them, they will never subside. We need to be from those people, Ikhwan, who's like, man, I can't look, I can't talk like that, I can't just keep talking. Because you will never be satisfied. You're not going to say, oh, I looked enough today, I can't look anymore. The nafs is not like that. Or the nafs just happen, I can't talk anymore because I've done a lot of talking this morning. That's it. I'm going to be quiet and shut my mouth until tomorrow morning. You can't do that. But with the food, yes. If a person is full, he cannot eat anymore until he's hungry. Until he is hungry, now he can eat again. But the person can look all day. Don't get tired looking. Don't get tired talking. So the Salaf used to warn against excessive looking and talking. They would say, مَا عَلَى الْأَرْضِ شَيْءٌ أَحْوَجُ إِلَى طُولِ السِّجْنِ مِنْ لِسَانٍ. This is the statement of the noble companion Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu. He says there is nothing on the face of the earth more deserving of the longest sentence or an imprisonment than the tongue. Meaning here is like you're not going to take your tongue and put it in a prison. Meaning to restrict your tongue, because the people in the prison, they are restricted. When people, they are put in jail, they are restricted now. They cannot go wherever they want. They cannot do whatever they want. They have to get up in certain time, go to sleep in certain time, to eat in certain time. They leave the cell only on certain times. Likewise, the tongue, you have to restrict it. Don't talk whenever you want and say whatever you want. You have to think before you say anything, is this going to be for you or against you in يوم القيامة؟ قبل أن تتكلم بأي كلمة انظر فيها هل ستكون في صالحك يوم القيامة أو لا؟ So whenever you want to say anything, of course you can say whatever you want. But you have to understand that, look, on يوم القيامة, whatever you say, whether it's going to be for you or against you. So you have to do it in this life. Before you say, nobody is forcing you to say anything. If it's something that is good and pleasing to Allah, say it. If it's not, bite on your tongue, man. You don't have to say it. All right? As for excessive eating, then it is a caller to many evils. As it incites the body towards sins, while making it too sluggish. Making it too sluggish for worship. And these two are sufficient evil. How much sin has come from a full stomach and excessive eating? And how many acts of worship have been left unperformed due to excessive food? Whoever safeguards the evil of his stomach has been protected from a great evil. The Shaitan gains greater mastery over the person who fills his stomach. Thus it is mentioned in some narrations, slow down the movement of the Shaitan with fasting. And we have narrations that the Prophet ﷺ that the fasting shrinks the passage of the Shaitan through the human body. And also the Prophet ﷺ said, ما ملأ آدمي وعاء شرا من بطن. The human has not filled a vessel worse than his stomach. Even though on the footnote they said this is a statement of Ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu. The top one, right? That was the top one. Ahsant. But the other one is a hadith. Naam. Is a hadith in Jami' al-Tirmidhi. The human has not filled a vessel worse than his stomach. It would be sufficient as evil if the other harm of filling the stomach was that it brings about heedlessness from the remembrance of Allah. And if the heart is heedless of Allah for 1 hour, the Shaitan will pounce on it. Shaitan will take, action and take advantage of that. Whenever one of us is heedless of the remembrance of Allah, that's what the Shaitan now. If you're not remembering Allah, you're putting off your guards. And if you can you imagine you're facing an enemy and you put off your guards, you're giving the enemy a great shot at you. You see, can you imagine you're facing the enemy, but then you go to sleep, and you lay down, you turn your back, put your weapons down. Then the enemy, that's what he's looking for. Those deficiencies and weaknesses in you. Likewise the shaitan. You remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you follow these guidelines, he's going to make shaitan's job very difficult for him. But if we don't follow these guidelines, we're inviting the shaitan into our lives, into our whatever we do now.